What's up, YouTube? Once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast. We're talking college football. I just had a random thought. When I was just sitting around, I was like, you know what? What if Clemson really was in the SEC? I'm not talking about just like wishful thinking, and I'm just really thinking about the benefits and maybe some of the risk of Clemson being in the SEC. Now, mind you, this will not happen. It's not in the works, but I just had this random thought. So, Clemson is a team that's located in the Deep South in South Carolina, where the South is really predicated on big rivalries. And I think if Clemson joins the SEC, that would give their fans something to be genuinely excited about. Because one week you're playing against Tennessee, because presumably, location-wise, Clemson would be in the SEC East, where they would take on Georgia every year. They would take on Florida every year. Tennessee, that's a guarantee. Can you imagine a Clemson and Florida game in the swamp? Right? Can you imagine a Clemson and Georgia game every single year? Schools that are really close together, the fans interconnect with one another. Clemson fans and say Pitt fans don't interconnect with one another. Therefore, when Clemson plays Pitt, you don't have that trash talking factor there. You know what I'm saying? So I think in regards to that, I think that would make Clemson's fan have, in my opinion, I'm just looking at it like, say, for instance, if Auburn was in the ACC. I'm just not getting excited about an Auburn versus Pitt game, even if it is in the same conference. But because of the proximity of the teams, it's real easy to get excited about Auburn, even Auburn versus Missouri. You know? That's a pretty legit team to get excited about. Auburn against LSU, obviously. Definite rival. But what rivals in conference does Clemson really have? Now, any Clemson fan out there, excuse my ignorance if I don't know, but I just don't see Clemson fans like, oh, man, we're playing Pitt this week, you know? So, and from a competition standpoint, I think Clemson being in the SEC would be excellent for them competition-wise, because they recruit some of the best players in the country. Top 3, top 4, no worse than top 5 recruiting classes, and put some of that talent to work. You know, you don't have the off week against Boston like you have against Boston College. So I think every week you're putting that talent to the test. Okay? And I think it's definitely something to look forward to as a Clemson fan every week. Now, last but not least, I think from a recruiting standpoint, it would actually put a little pressure on Clemson. I think being in the SEC would really challenge Clemson, because, of course, you have Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, Alabama that recruit at a high level anyway. And then you add Clemson to the mix, it's not enough recruits to go around. And I think out of all the teams involved, Clemson will hold their own, but it's just going to be harder. You know, it's not as hard to recruit in the ACC, in my opinion, because they don't really have, at the moment, they don't really have any in-conference teams pushing the envelope from a recruiting standpoint to that degree. But Clemson will be kind of like in the position like Auburn, for example. The recruiting war will get a little bit more harsh. So, but anyway, that's my take on what if Clemson was in the SEC. Just having a little fun here on a Sunday afternoon. Like the video, comment, and subscribe. Just talking a little bit about college football. Main thing that I talk about are the Auburn Tigers, War Eagle. And you all have a great afternoon.